Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5:30. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Candace Campos.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Our guest today is a Florida native and a private chef. Now, some of his clients have included people like Sir Paul McCartney. You may have heard of him before.
I think so.
As well as the Rolling Stones. He also works with local kids in our community, specifically at the Paramore Kids Zone.
Yes, Sevarrest Allen from Kitchen Savior is joining us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Chef.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so very much.
Hey, we are so happy to have you here, especially because you brought some special treats with you that just smell amazing. So
we wish we had smell-o-vision like we always say.
We really do. Before we get into things, tell us what you brought today.
I made a cornbread waffle. It's actually a garlic and herb cornbread waffle. A little pulled pork and a purple cabbage slaw to go on top, and then we just kind of fancied it up a little bit and drizzled some barbecue sauce over the top of it.
I love me some waffles. I love me some pork. I love me some slaw. And I love me some barbecue sauce. So
there we go.
You know how to talk to my heart. So you born and raised here in Florida, Palatka?
Palatka, Florida. Yes, ma'am. Born and raised. It's where I call home. That's where I, essentially learned how to cook. My grandmother is, I say, who kind of, taught me the ropes a little bit. When I was probably 8 years old, kind of go in the kitchen with her. She like, Sevarrest, watch the pots. Don't let my food burn. so you'd have to, either sit at the dining room table and legitimately watch the pots, go peek at them, or go turn something in the pot or whatever. But that's kind of where I kind of got my love for food, is cooking in the kitchen with her. And plus, been a large-sized person my whole life. So, being a large-sized person, I figure, might want to learn how to feed yourself at some point. So we had to get in there and, get it how we live, as they say.
I love that. And I love that, she told you, don't be burning her food now.
And to this day, I do not burn food.
Good. Step number one about being a chef, don't burn the food.
Do not burn the food.
And it's interesting because a lot of people, I think parents especially, try to bring their kids into the kitchen to teach them the love of cooking.
Yes.
But not all kids like it. You always loved it, though.
Yes, always loved it. And even, now, my two boys, I have 3 boys, but I have a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Wow.
And my 7 and 4-year-old, they love to be in the kitchen.
That's
love.
awesome.
They love to eat too, but they love to be in the kitchen. They're like, if I'm standing there, Dad, what are we having for dinner? Can we help you make it? And they're like, they're a little bit of a food snobs.
Yeah.
They don't just want to make regular stuff. Like, hey, Dad, let's just make some, let's make a salad, let's make a sandwich. It's like, no, let's make strawberry mousse. Can we? Yeah, right? What? Yeah, let's make strawberry mousse. Let's make hush puppies. Let's do this. Can we do this? So it's like, they get it all they watch a lot of Master Chef Junior and other kind of stuff. They will sit and watch it religiously, sit there and just watch it episode by episode. So they're heavy into it too.
So how did you go from just cooking in your family kitchen to actually making a career out of this?
Oh, that was it. Because I've probably been a professional chef 12, 13 years now. Mm-hmm. So what happened was I was getting ready to get laid off from a job. They had, did us a favor and told us, hey guys, at this particular point, we're going to lay you guys off. So, I was newly engaged. And right around the time I was getting laid off was probably about a month or so before I was supposed to get married. Oof. So my wife, well, she's my wife now, she goes, you should look into going to culinary school. I'm like, well, why would I do that?
I already know how to cook.
Well, no, not even that. I was cooking was a legitimate hobby. Like I did it, the de-stress kind of when I come home, like it was fun.
Yeah.
And usually you don't do fun stuff for your profession.
And when you were laid off, were you working in the food industry?
No. This is everything was brand new. So she was like, you should just look into it. And so one of the few times I can honestly say I listened to her. I looked into a few schools. I looked into Valencia, and then back in that time, Le Cordon Bleu was here, and I went on a visit to Le Cordon Bleu, and I talked to the people there, and they took me on a tour, and I fell in love with the campus and the people there, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Wow,
that's amazing. And man, there's so many people who say, "Oh, you don't need to go to culinary school."
Yeah.
Okay. I'm one of those people. No, because they had a thing about it a few years ago in the Orlando Sentinel about is it worth the money? And me personally, I felt like it was because what I've done in my career has paid for my education tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's more so about getting the proper education as opposed to just kind of going in somewhere and learning with somebody who's been there 20 years and who probably doesn't have a culinary, piece of paper anyway. Like, I've been doing this 20 years. This is how you do it. But it's like, no, when you go to school, they teach you proper ways. They teach you how to, just like if you guys went to college, they teach you how to speak when you're in front of a camera, just like they teach us how to properly dice, mince, julienne, all of that good stuff. So it's good to have the actual knowledge of the things that you're actually doing once you get out there into the field.
The full science of
Yes.
it behind it.
Yes,
Like
yes,
you were
yes,
saying,
yes.
I'm trying to cut this with vinegar, and
Right.
you learn kind
Yes.
of the
Yes,
pyramid
yes, yes.
Of cooking.
Yes. I've had quite a few chefs in my time kind of, burn certain things into my memory because they, different chefs have different palates and they want to make sure that, if you're cooking their food, if you're under their tutelage, that you have to be able to do what they want you to do. So what I've been able to do over the years that I've been cooking is take a little bit from each chef and kind of, bring it into my own, if you will.
So after culinary school, where did you go?
During culinary school, I started culinary school. I think it was like late June, early July of 2011, and I got my first culinary job at Disney in September. It's like September 18th.
You just dove right into it.
Well, I had no choice. I didn't really want to, but I had no choice because a couple of the students we had gotten pretty close, and everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to go and apply at SeaWorld, whatever." So I didn't want to work at SeaWorld. No disrespect to SeaWorld, but it was like Disney. So I was like, they get in the park for free if you work with Disney. Let me go and apply and work there. So I got my job there, and that's where my legitimate culinary journey started. Because working there, you get to work with different chefs. They're from all over the world, and you're gonna learn not just American cooking. You're gonna learn everything up under the sun. It's gonna be different techniques from each chef. So
That was at the Yacht and Beach Club. Where,
Yes.
Yeah, you started working,
Yes.
but you also had the opportunity, which is kind of surprising to me, to help develop some of the menu there, which you think you go into like a big company and they're just going to
Listen,
tell you,
already done.
this is what you have to do.
I remember that day like it was yesterday because we were on break, me and another coworker, and one of the sous chefs comes outside. He goes, "Hey, Sevarrest, come here. I need you to do me a favor." Now I'm bottom of the totem pole, and I'm not even fully confident in myself as a chef. I'm not. I still don't know if I want to do this for a living. And so he goes, "Hey, listen, we're doing a soul food menu, and I need you to sit down and write it."
Wow.
And I look at him like, "You who? Me? Yeah, like get out my face, bro." He's like, No. He's like, "All I want you to do is sit at the table, think about when growing up, think about the food that your grandmother, your mom would cook on a Sunday, put it down." And I'm like, "That's a bunch of stuff, chef." So he goes, No, just write everything down. So I wrote everything down, and he kind of helped me kind of piece it together, make it, but we created. I think he called it Soul of a Nation or something like that. But yeah, we wrote that. He said I wrote it, but it was a joint effort.
And what were some of the things on that menu?
Protein wise, we had fried fish, we had fried chicken, we had pot roast, we had lemon meringue pie, peach cobbler, mac and cheese, Hoppin' John, which is like a black eyed pea kind of dish, the collard greens. It was a ton of stuff.
And then did you also have to teach everyone there how to make all of this?
Teach, no, because like I said, you have people that have been there for 20 plus years that have been cooking long as I'm alive. So I didn't really have to teach anybody anything, but he had me, when we did the menu for the first time, he had me oversee everything to make sure it was like I wanted it to be.
Right, authentic.
Which I still thought was crazy because I'm like, here I'm 25, 26, and I'm trying to tell this 50-year-old, he's been frying chicken just as long as I've been alive. How am I going to tell him how to do it when he's like, Sevarrest, just make sure it looks like it's supposed to, because when we go out here to tell the client about the menu, we're going to say your name, so if it sucks, it's on you, buddy. So,
I mean, is that your final moment? Because you keep saying it. I just started. I wasn't sure. I'm not. Is that the moment where you were like, okay,
I've made it.
I've made it?
No.
Stay with Florida Foodie as the chef behind Kitchen Savior explains how he ended up cooking for Sir Paul McCartney and is inspiring Central Florida's next generation of young chefs, all while starting his own personal chef business. Welcome back to Florida Foodie. We are sitting down with a personal chef who has worked for Disney, served celebrities, and is now teaching the next generation of young chefs. So let's get back to it.
My defining culinary moment was when it was at Yacht Beach, and they had a party for I think it was a couple hundred people, and it was a barbecue party. And this may even tie into this, I don't know, but the chef assistant who was in charge of the party, he did all of the food, and I remember they took the food to the party, but nobody ate anything. Like nothing. They didn't eat anything.
Okay.
And so
That's not good.
Right, yeah.
And me being the young person that I was back then, I kind of poked fun at the guy, like, hey, kind of sucks. How does that make you feel? But like, he got kind of phased, like, well, next time we do a party, you do everything.
Okay.
And found out later it was a total setup, because I'm like, I'll do whatever. And so the sous chef, he was like, hey man, listen, you just agreed to that. We got a party like a week and a half. It's 1,100 people.
No.
And it's exactly, that was my, no, like, exactly, he was like, yeah, so, and at that time, I'd done anything at barbecue. Nothing. I didn't know how to do anything. It was just, all right, cool. You pour something out of a bottle, you pull something out of a bag, and boom, boom, boom. They was like, no, man, you got to do everything from scratch. And I knew I had made it because when they put the food out and the party was over, we had zero food.
Oh, wow.
None.
Winner.
So
That's good.
at that point, I remember the executive chef was like, hey, so that barbecue rub you make, we're going to keep that on hand. And so you're going to make that because we're going to use it every time we do barbecue. And I have a picture on my phone on the order form. It says Sevarrest barbecue rub, and it had listed. I didn't give them the entire recipe. I had a couple of the ingredients of what consisted of the barbecue rub. But yeah, that was when I was like, okay, cool, I can do this.
So you went from Disney's Yacht Beach Club. I mean, we mentioned a couple of just famous
Right. How do you
people.
go from working at Disney to then serving Sir Paul McCartney?
I did
the
all
Rolling
of that.
Stones?
I did all of that pretty much. I think I was still working at Disney because what happened was there was a company, Untouchables Catering. Eric John Jansen he's the owner of the company. He called the Cordon Bleu and was like, hey, I need a couple people to come and help me. This was the Republican National Convention in 2012 is how I got linked up with this guy. So I got a friend of mine, and we go from being volunteers to like he put me in charge of his hot kitchen and he put her in charge of his cold kitchen, and we were there a week, roughly 15 to 18 hours a day.
Wow.
And so he told me, he's like, hey man, I do a lot of big concerts in the state. Whenever I have anything big, I'm calling you. So,
That is awesome. Right.
he legitimately calls. And he was like, hey, I got the Rolling Stones. They're going to be at, what was it called at the time? It wasn't called.
Amway?
No. It wasn't the football field.
Citrus Bowl?
Yeah, it was that.
You're making me go back several names.
I'm trying to, yeah. So they were there.
Yeah.
That big thing
Right,
here in
yes.
Orlando.
They were there, and he's like, yeah, you want to come? He's like, when you get here, we're going to put you in charge of like actually cooking for the band and like making sure the band, you're going to create your own team, but you're ultimately going to feed the Stones.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. But I got a couple volunteers from the Cordon Bleu to come out. Got a couple of the chefs to come out, and we and they gave them tickets to the concert, so they got to see the Stones and all that good stuff too. And the last day there, he was like, "Hey man, listen, they liked your stuff so much. You think you want to come, to another city with us?"
Oh my! Now you're on the tour bus.
And I'm
You're
like,
a groupie.
and I'm like,
awesome.
you serious? He goes, yeah. He's like, well, I was like, where's the next city? Is it in Florida? He goes, no, it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was like, my wife was pregnant at the time. Like, dude, at any moment. So I was like, hey, listen, do you mind if I go? I was like, I might be gone a week if I'm gone that long. She goes, if I have this baby while you're gone.
You're not going to hear
so
the
much
end of
sad.
it.
Right? So
Yeah.
I go, and it was freaking amazing.
I love how you still wait.
Yeah.
If I have this baby, okay, I'll go.
Because she
Yeah.
told me that I could go. I was like,
Okay.
are you sure? She's like,
Was
"No."
it your first baby?
Yes, that's my
okay.
first baby. 2015. This
Okay.
all happened in like June, July. And so I go, and the cool thing about it was we got to stay in the same hotel as the Stones. We got to do a lot of stuff I don't think regular people get to do at a hotel.
What was that like? Was their hotel like surrounded by groupies? Were people trying to get in?
Well, they're older gentlemen, so
It wasn't crazy.
It wasn't too crazy,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Great stories to have and
No
to tell your
kidding.
kids. And
Listen, I have a bunch of those, man, just because I feel like I've lived a very charmed culinary life. Because like I said, I've only been cooking 12, 13 years, and I've done way more in that 12
Yeah.
or 13 than most people have done.
In a lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're paying it forward at the Paramore Kids Zone.
With the Paramore Kids Zone thing, a buddy of mine, I'm gonna say his name just because he's my best friend. He's the best man in the winter. Mr. Joseph Caesar. He called me. He goes, "Hey man, listen, I want to get these kids some cooking lessons, and I want you to be the one to do it." It was very, very humbling. So I've been kind of coddling him a little bit, but we'll get it to the full fledged point of me being a legit, like, you're not Gordon Ramsay, but like a
Yes,
little
chef.
bit. Yeah.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
But the kids I have, they're legitimately interested in food. But it's rewarding. It's very, very rewarding because like, you know, when I come in and they're like, okay, what are we doing today? Or what are we gonna eat today?
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where like, I definitely it probably ranks very, very high on the list of things that I've done in my culinary career. It's probably top 2 or 3.
It is a wonderful thing to introduce young kids to the art of cooking and the importance of nutrition and food and how you can take something from, a carrot or whatever and make it into something beautiful and nutritious. And that a lot of kids are never exposed to stuff like that.
And a lot of them, seriously, they're not. And the thing is, they don't like something because they haven't been exposed to it. That's usually the situation because it's like, we don't eat that. Or we don't have that here.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, once you leave wherever you're at right now, they're going to have it wherever you're going. So you may as well familiarize yourself with it. That way you're not looking, totally odd when it presents itself to you.
And showing them that there is this whole career path out there, where you can do so many cool things.
And that's the other thing what I like about what I'm doing with them and just speaking in general, because I used to go and speak to the kids at the Cordon Bleu also, because it's make it a little serious real quick. Because when it comes to like African American males, either you're some type of entertainer or you're a ball player of some sort, and like kids really don't know any other success outside of that. So for me to be a chef and to be what some would call a very successful chef, and to show them that, hey man, look, I pretty much grew up how you grew up. Situations are almost identical. Not to say I made it, but I got to a certain point.
You made it.
But I got to a certain point to where, like, I am able to now, show somebody the ropes or give them a little bit of, as they say, game on how to get themselves from over here to over here.
Yeah. I have to hear the story about Sir Paul McCartney, though. How did you come into contact with him?
Same situation. Untouchables Catering. I can't say that company's name enough or say Eric's name enough because legitimately in the beginning of my career, anything big that I did had something to do with him. But it was a one-day thing. He did a concert in Tampa at the Amalie Arena, and he called me at like 8 o'clock in the morning. He was like, "Hey man, can you get over here by like 1?"
You're like, what?
I'm like, "Hey man, I'm on the way." He goes, "Hey, before you get here, well, Sir Paul's, I think he's like a vegan or whatever the heck it is. He's like, so no animal product, nothing. If you have a leather wallet, leave it in the car. If you have on a belt." Pick another one, like, shoes, like wear like, he's like, cause they will turn you away.
Right. So you had to leave your leather chaps at home.
Listen, I had to leave them at the house. I think I might have left them in the trunk, but no, so I get there and it was legit. It was like, he had like crazy security and that whole animal print thing, it was serious because as I was walking up to go into the place, they was walking 3 dudes out.
Wow.
Whoa.
But, and the crazy thing is he brought chefs with him. So they were like, they had to have been from the UK because they had accents like they were from over there. But he's, so we cooked everything vegan and vegetarian, like tons and tons of stuff. And it was more so, like I was helping. But we, he walked through, thanked everybody, hey guys, thank you so very much. And nice guy.
Yeah.
But it was like, I was like, okay, cool. Now, how do I explain this to people? Because like, who's going to believe that? Like, oh yeah, but Paul McCartney, yeah, I was like, yeah,
It's guy. That's guy.
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's one of those situations where like, it could have been anybody. And I just felt like I said, I've lived a very, very charmed culinary life because like I said, it's situations like that to where like, most people can't say that they've done something like that.
Can we try this?
Yeah, why not?
Yes. Where can people find you if they're interested in meal prep, if they're interested in personal chef?
Kitchen Savior on Facebook, KITCHENSAVIR.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this.
They'll see the logo when it pops up. Same on IG. I am on both of those entities regularly, so you're more than likely going to hear from me immediately.
So if we have a party and we'd like...
Now when you say we.
Lisa and I are hosting a party. So
is there a size limit or minimum, maximum requirement?
At the moment, because I'm a one-man wrecking crew, I usually try to cap it at like 100, 150 people.
Oh no, I don't have 150 people.
No, we don't have that many friends.
If it's
Maybe
smaller,
Lisa.
if it's smaller, then
eat
yeah.
for 150
But yeah.
people.
But no.
Oh my gosh, this looks so good.
Yeah, then email is chefsevarrest@gmail.com. I have a website coming that's in the works, so you guys will be.
Cheers.
She got the full bite. Let's see.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on
ma'am.
Florida
Thank you,
Foodie.
thank
This
you.
was fun. This was delicious. Check him out. He's amazing.
I mean, the moral of the story here at the end of the day, your wife was right. And thank you for watching Florida Foodie. You can catch us Wednesdays on News 6 at 5:30 or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.